Welcome to Starmie Arcade channel!
how you deal with discouragement and how you deal with obstacles, having no understanding about that myself. Okay? And when we look at it, we go, Nehemiah dealt with struggles from within in the relationships of the Jewish people themselves. They were not treating each other fairly or well. And as a result, that was creating some obstacles that were there. There were multiple attempts. This just wasn't one thing that was a discouraging thing, but multiple things were trying to distract them. And it's sort of like our worship service this morning. If you were behind the scenes of this morning's worship service, you would understand that every one of us this morning were dealing with multiple distractions as we were getting ready for the worship time. And in our prayer time back here, Ivan was just saying, God, help us to get it all together when we're out there. You know, another thing is there are things that can happen in our life that can even be life-threatening. And that's where Nehemiah was. And we don't necessarily maybe have that in our category of distractions right now, but it could be. And so one of the things we need to understand is, how do we deal with all these things that are going on? I want you to turn in your Bibles or electronic Bible, or read along in your text there. If you're in your book, it's on page 64 is where the sermon notes start for this morning. In chapter 4, reading the first 3 verses. Let's look at that. Now it came about that when Sanballat heard that they were rebuilding the wall, he became furious and was very angry and mocked the Jews. He spoke in the presence of his brothers and the wealthy men of Samaria and said, "What are these feeble Jews doing? Are they going to restore it for themselves? Can they offer sacrifices? Can they finish in a day? Can they revive the stones from the dusty rubble, even the burned ones?" Now Tobiah the Ammonite was near him and said, "Even what they are building, if a fox should jump on it, it would break the stone wall down." Whoa. Some of the times we're right there with them, aren't we? We understand all the issues that we're dealing with. But I want us to understand today that when we see obstacles, we don't need to be distracted by the obstacle. We need to be refocused on the purpose of God in our life. And we need to be refocused on what God is wanting us to do and how He is wanting us to respond. Because ultimately, it's not about my weakness or your weakness, or my strength or your strength. It's about God and His purpose and His strength and His will for our
Comes from